Aloha and good morning from beautiful Wahiwa, Hawaii. PV here. Trigger's here. He's just making noise. Like I said, I think maybe for the month of November, I'm just going to go a little bit, maybe not so scripted. We're just going to try something different, try something new, and see how it works. All right? So, yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. So, this week, for those of you who are into video games, specifically console games, the two, big new consoles came out, right? The PlayStation 5 and then the Xbox Series X. Okay. Now, here's the thing. I'm getting a little older. I'm getting up there in age. I remember driving my buddy to Walmart about 19 years ago to pick up the very first Xbox. And I remember taking it back to our place, and he opened it up, and we started it up, and it's got the cool Xbox logo coming up, and we played Halo, and we're blown away with how graphically amazing this thing was. And the thing is, most of y'all probably laugh because most of y'all got more graphic processing power on your little smartphones than we had on the original Xbox. But again, it's the evolution of gaming, right? And I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen now with these new next-gen consoles. And yes, all right, PC gamers, you can keep your smug opinions to yourself. We all know PC's probably better, right? But I'm looking forward to what they're going to be able to do with these games, with these consoles. Back in 2001, when the first Xbox came out, there wasn't really anything like open-world games. And now, there's a bunch of open-world games on console and even mobile. They've got mobile open-world games. Genshin Impact, I'm looking at you. And I tend to be more objective-oriented, so I'm not one of those ones that likes to do a lot of exploring, but I can definitely see the allure of, just being able to be whoever you want to be, do whatever you want to do in a video game. And that got me thinking, what would you do if you could do anything you wanted to in the real world? Okay? For those of you who are watching this by yourself, go ahead and leave it down in the comments, and maybe I'll share a couple next week. For those of you watching this with your teachers, if you go ahead and pause that, let's hear from your students and share anything interesting that you might find out. All right, go. All right, well, freedom. It's a big concept. It's something that we think about, and I remember my son one time telling me, Dad, if it's a free country, why do I have to go to school? And I was like, good question, because I told you so. That's why. All right? But we're going to look at freedom today. And to do that, we're going to look in Galatians. Like we did last week, we're in Galatians. We're going to be in Galatians again this week. And Galatians chapter 5, verse 13 through 14 says this: You, my brothers and sisters, were called to be free. But do not use your freedom to indulge the flesh. Rather, serve one another humbly in love. For the entire law is fulfilled in keeping this one command: love your neighbor as yourself. All right. So again, the believers in Galatia, they were wrestling with some issues, and one of the issues was, what was the place of the Jewish law in the life of Christians? And there were some that said, well, Christians had to follow this law, and other Christians were saying, no, you don't. And a lot of them were saying, yes, you do, because this is what the Jews did, and Christianity comes out of Judaism, and so we're going to do this. And Paul is saying, no. If righteousness can come from the law, then Christ died for nothing. Like we said last week, it's Jesus plus nothing. That's it. And so he said, you are actually free from this law. This law was given as sort of a babysitter, okay? So kind of like, okay, let's just keep y'all in check for now, but now we are living by grace. You have freedom. Okay, Christ has set us free. It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. And he says that freedom comes with options. Okay, it says it right here, but do not use your freedom to indulge the flesh, which means you could use your freedom to indulge the flesh. Now, that's not going to lead to true freedom. Eventually, that which you are free to do becomes that which enslaves you. Okay, so it says, do not use your freedom to indulge the flesh. Rather, serve one another humbly in love. Okay, so Christian freedom is not freedom, not just freedom from, but freedom to. We have freedom from sin, and that gives us freedom to serve. We have freedom from sin, and that gives us freedom to serve. Because in doing this, he says, this Jewish law that you guys are kind of obsessed about, these dietary restrictions and circumcision and special festivals. He's like, the whole law is going to be fulfilled if you actually use your freedom from sin to serve others. Okay? It will fulfill the law because you'll be loving your neighbor as yourself. And so he's actually saying, if you guys really care about this Jewish law stuff, live free. Free to serve other people. Okay? Now, how are some ways that we could use our freedom to serve others? Okay? Well, first, if you're able, donate to Hugs Hawaii on behalf of Mrs. Nagata. Your homeroom teachers probably got the information on that one. Basically, what they're looking for is $5. Just put $5 in a Ziploc bag, turn it into your homeroom teacher, and they'll get that to Hugs Hawaii. Hugs Hawaii is an organization that provides care for families and children, for children who are undergoing medical treatment for stuff that really it's sad for anybody to go through, but especially kids. And so it's a great organization on behalf of Mrs. Nagata. Now, some of you younger students might not know who Mrs. Nagata is, but some of you older students may have even had her. She used to be a teacher at KCS and has since gone on to be with Jesus. Now, I only knew her as a colleague, but she always struck me as very kind and compassionate, which seems to me the kind of person you would want teaching elementary school. Now, I'm going to wade into some controversial waters here, okay? But with Thanksgiving approaching, government leaders in various parts of the country are mandating how their citizens should celebrate Thanksgiving. Our own mayor basically said that if the COVID case counts aren't reduced in the next 2 weeks, he will not move the city's reopening plan from Tier 2 to Tier 3, which would allow up to 10 people to gather as opposed to 5, which we are currently at. By the way, I'm going to put a link to a story detailing that in the description below. Now, some people are even suggesting that Thanksgiving celebrations be done virtually. Okay? Now, I don't know about you, but I am not eating my Thanksgiving barbecue in front of my iPad. You'd be thinking, Thanksgiving barbecue? Y'all don't eat turkey? No, I don't eat turkey. So that's what I said. I'm going to be a little controversial here maybe. I don't eat turkey. My wife and I, we did turkey the first year we got married. It's okay. If I'm going to do Thanksgiving, I'm doing barbecue. I'm doing ribs. I'm doing brisket. I'm doing salmon. I'm smoking some form of dead animal. Okay? You do you. Let me do me. All that said, free people do not ask permission to gather with their family. I do not need the permission of some elected official to go visit my tutu. I think the last time I saw her in person was in February. Since then, she's turned 80 and lost her husband. And my only contact with her has been through our weekly Zoom meetings. Now, I love my tutu. I'm sure you love your grandma, love your grandpa, okay? And I want to make sure that she is safe and healthy. As far as I have anything to do with it, that's what I want for her. As such, I don't use my freedom to go over to her house and give her a big hug. I'm around a lot of different types of people, okay? I may come into contact with the virus. I don't want to spread that to my tutu. I use my freedom to socially distance until a vaccine can be developed and tested, not because some bureaucrat tells me to, because I love my tutu. You are free. You and your families can make your own decisions about what you're going to do this Thanksgiving. Use your freedom to serve others in love. This week we celebrated Veterans Day. And I can think of, I can think, scratch that. Maybe I will edit this out, maybe I won't. I don't know. Like I said, real life, okay? This week we celebrated Veterans Day, and I think that can help us provide us with a clear example of how we can use our freedom from sin as a freedom to serve. Okay? Like us, the men and women who serve in our armed forces are free people, yet they set aside their freedoms in order to defend ours. I remember one time, during my brief time in the Navy, we were being briefed on the UCMJ, the Uniform Code of Military Justice, and our petty officer told us that even though the Navy had grown lax about tattoos, that we would still need to get the permission of our LPO or LCPO if we wanted to get one, because if we didn't, and you got the tattoo anyway, you could actually be charged with destruction of government property, because we were government property now. They set aside their freedom so they can protect yours. Let us do likewise, setting aside our freedom to do, and instead taking up our freedom to serve. All right, well, that's going to about do it for me today. I hope you all have a great week, a great weekend, and I look forward to hearing about some of the things that you would do if you had complete freedom to do whatever you wanted. All right, but until then, aloha, have a great day.